All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday, November 1st, and we got Game 7 of the World Series. Now, there's two things I want to talk about before we do dive into this game. First, and literally foremost, it is my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. If you're watching this, I love you. Thank you so much. Let's get a happy birthday, Mom, down in the comments for my mom, all right? Secondarily, this is win or lose going to be the last MLB video of the season, at least picks video of the season. And I just wanted to take a second to say thank you guys so much for an amazing season. If you found the channel during the season, like this stuff means so much to me. Don't take it for granted at all. I really don't. So really do appreciate it, guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button one last time for the MLB season. Let's go ahead and dive into this game, guys. Jays, Dodgers, Game 7. I feel like this postseason alone, as well as I guess the World Series, has just dispelled any of those murmurs and the haters out there being like, baseball's dead or it's boring. We've had electricity, pure electricity in this postseason run, as well as just the World Series in general, right? Like Dodgers, the big market team, Toronto, kind of the underdog in this spot. We're at Game 7 here in Toronto. Like, this is absolutely awesome. Let's go ahead and dive into this one. Actually, we do have to recap last night. We lost Yamamoto's over 1.5 walks. He only finished with one walk, pitched a good game, and he's looked good against this Jays team, right? But again, we've been conservative. It was only a .15 unit loss, just over a tenth of a unit. So I'm not going to cry about it, but even if we won it, we couldn't really like victory lap or celebrate it, right? It wasn't that strong of a play. But what we're going to do here, guys, is dive into this game. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about a player prop that I'm liking in this game as well. But as always, guys, make sure to keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That's where you'll find all of my final plays. So I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. So let's get to it. Like I've said a couple times already, game number 7. We are here. Series tied 3-3 on the bump today for this Blue Jays team is going to be Max Scherzer. Obviously, that's a decent look for them. Scherzer, I'm going to give a lot of credit here because he kind of came from, I don't want to say like the dumps in a sense, but you know what I mean? Like Scherzer was kind of counted out, and he honestly has been pretty good for this team in terms of what he was doing at the beginning of the year. The problem is they've now seen him, right? And he only pitched, what, 4 2/3, 3 earned, 5 hits, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 home runs. They've already kind of got to him, but he has been valuable to this team, more valuable than I would have thought, especially after coming back and everything like that. So I will give him credit. I don't know if this is the best of matchups for him, right? From a pitch mix perspective, we're going to see him throw the fastball. We're going to see him throw the slider. This is the Dodgers team that hits the slider really well. In fact, 4 of the top 5 guys in the lineup, so Shohei, Mookie, Will Smith, Teoscar Hernandez, you can even say Freddie Freeman a little bit, but they hit the fastball really well. What really worries me about Scherzer is the fact that he struggled even this year, and obviously this series too, against left-handed bats. And when you think about that, that's not exactly what you want to be seeing, right? From Shohei leading things off, Freddie Freeman batting in the 3 spot. Doesn't exactly work out. Also throw in the fact that someone like Mookie Betts or Teoscar Hernandez, who are these righties, they're batting really well against righty pitchers. So I do think that there are some runs that come from the Dodgers today. I would say that both bullpens are in fine positions, and the interesting thing here, and I guess the important thing to note, is that being the last game of the year, these two teams can exhaust all resources and all arms out of the bullpen, right? Scherzer goes out there and, pitches poorly for 3 innings. They can throw a million arms out of the bullpen because there's no tomorrow, in a sense, right? So that's definitely something to keep in mind as we go through this. But I do think that Scherzer's in a tough spot in a sense, especially since recently they already hit him. If we flip it over to the Dodger side of things, it is Shohei's turn, right? Now Shohei obviously going to be playing both ways, and he probably wouldn't want to draw it up any better, being in a Game 7 chance to win a World Series, pitching and batting. And the thing with him is that he does have some, I don't want to say softish numbers, because the numbers I'm going to reference are still pretty good, but soft-ish numbers against righties. And that still worries me from a Shohei perspective, right? He's going to be throwing the fastball and slider. Those are 2 pitches that this team hits really well as a whole, and that the top of the lineup hits really well. George Springer, Vlad Guerrero, Bo Bichette. And yes, he does have some soft-ish numbers against righties. Like against lefties this year, Shohei a 179 average against a 37% K rate, right? Against righties, still a really good K rate at 28%. Like that's above average, but a 265 average against. So I do think that there's a chance that he goes out there and maybe lets up a couple runs here as well. You can kind of see where I'm getting at here. I think the first thing that I'm going to lean towards is going to be an over in this spot. I've been saying it all series long. We've been right three times, we've been wrong three times, right? But I do think that the offenses are kind of the creme de la creme in this matchup. I think both these teams are where they are today because they have the ability to go out there and score runs. So, yes, it hasn't gone over, what, 7.5 in 2 games. I think that we could see some runs today. I know that might be a little obscure or abnormal for a game seven when everyone seems tight and, everything like that. But I do think that these bats can get to the pitchers to some degree. And remember what I said earlier that even if these pitchers struggle a little bit, short leashes, right? You're not going to hang a guy out to dry. You're going to go boom right to the bullpen. I've said it all series long. I don't think that these are the creme de la creme of bullpens that we have left in the league, right? So I think that we could see some runs today, some late runs, teams just selling out at the end of the game to try and get some runs, make this game closer. So that's the direction I'm going to lean in. I also don't mind the idea of the Blue Jays in terms of my side pick on the run line. For minus 120 right now, you can get it at plus 1.5 on the run line for minus 120. That seems like a decent enough spot. I mean, Shohei, yes, I probably would take him over Max Scherzer, and we'll talk about it in a second, Shohei from the hitting perspective. But I do think that, at some point, the Dodgers will have to call upon the bullpen. Shohei's going to be playing both sides. I can't see him going 9 innings or something like that. So the minute that bullpen comes in, I think this Blue Jays team can definitely score some runs. So plus 1.5 at home in a game seven with your last at bats guaranteed, I feel like we do have a little bit of a nice spot to take a peek at there. So again, from a total perspective, I'm taking a peek at the over 7.5. From a side perspective, I don't know if I'm all that confident in Blue Jays money line, but I could see this being like a 5-4 game, right? Dodgers potentially winning. Blue Jays have that 1.5 runs in their back pocket. If this is a blowout, then well, damn. You know what I mean? Blue Jays didn't show up for their last game of the series at home with a chance to upset the big dog. You know what I mean? That would be unfortunate. But I do think plus 1.5 is a decent enough spot. Now, before we do dive into the player prop that I am liking, I want to talk to you guys about Novig. You've heard about them on the channel plenty of times. If you have not checked it out yet, go ahead and do so. It is not a sports book is a peer-to-peer sports prediction market exchange. And why do I make that clarification? Because over on Novig, you can get a bunch of better lines, better prices, and everything of the sorts because you have average Joes setting the line. And, I could go on there right now and set a line that I want that may be a little softer than a sportsbook. You could take advantage of it. Right now, you can play $5 over on Novig and get $50 instantly in bonuses. Check it out. That link will be down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. Play number one in terms of a player prop, and it's the only player prop we have today. You guys hated on it last time, but we did cash it last time. Shohei's getting the ball to pitch. I'm looking at his under 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at the plate. Now, I do think that his focus will be on pitching, and I do worry that after he's done pitching, he'll continue to bat and maybe hit up this Toronto bullpen. So there's a chance late in the game that he could make this go bye-bye. But last time out, we took this. He walked a bunch, didn't get a hit, no runs, no RBIs. I do think, and that was also, I will give the caveat in the context, he pitched the day after that 18-inning game, so I figured, and he had a really good batting day that day, so I was like, kind of a perfect storm. But realistically, I am honing in on the idea that we do have him just coming out of the gates here after playing this entire series, now has to pitch. What is he going to focus on? If he doesn't pitch well, this team is behind the eight ball, right? So I do think that it's going to be a decent enough spot for him to have to pitch. Now, when you look at it from this series perspective, things actually got better. Remember at the beginning of the series, he was going absolutely off, right? 4 hits, runs, and RBIs, 2 hits, runs, and RBIs, 10 hits, runs, and RBIs. In his last 3 games, he's hit the under 0, 0, and then yesterday he did have 1 run and 1 hit. Now, him against Scherzer, not exactly the biggest and best of sample size. 6 plate appearances, he does have 2 hits. He has an average of, actually 3 hits, an average of, no, 2 hits, right? If I'm doing the math correctly, 333. Boom, I'm a genius. He's also struck out 1/3 of the time, too, at 33.3%. So his batting average goes up slightly against righties from 282 to 283. WRC plus goes up slightly, but Scherzer, decent enough against lefties on the season, I guess, when it comes to a strikeout perspective, right? I know we talked about kind of Scherzer's softness against lefties if they hit the ball, but I do like the idea of his strikeouts against lefties, right? He's averaging, I think it's over 20% K against strikeouts. We've already seen Shohei now strike out a couple times. Now, am I going to sit here and tell you that Shohei's going to go out there and strike out 4 or 5 times? No, but I don't necessarily think that he's going to go out there and absolutely crush the ball. From a fastball perspective, his WOBA does drop. That's Scherzer's number one pitch. Now his WOBA drops to 405 from 418. We call a spade a spade. That's still really, really good. The slider, yeah, it drops slightly as well. And the important thing to note with the slider, so Max Scherzer, two lefties, going to throw it down and in. This year, in a down and in, so heat zone, Shohei Ohtani against righty pitchers is batting 091 against sliders down and in. It's not where he likes to hit it. He likes to hit it when it's hung up in the zone. I don't see Scherzer doing that. So I don't think it's the best batting spot for Shohei. Of course, when I give these unders, or like I did last time with Shohei and talk about an under, I'm not trying to sit here and make the case that Shohei stinks or anything like that, okay? It's that he is pitching, and I like to take his unders when he's hitting, when he is pitching. It's as simple as that. If someone wants to fade it, I totally get it. But that is going to be the player prop that we're rolling with there. And guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's show in our last MLB picks video of the season. One last thank you to you guys. Really, really do appreciate it. I know I say it all the time, and sometimes we get comments being like, you say thank you too much, which I don't agree with. But just because we say it a lot doesn't make it each and every time mean any less. Like, it's still very, very true. And I do appreciate it. Catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.